Alright, so today we're going to talk about pronoun shifts. And I think, these are some of the more easy lessons, something that I actually didn't make lessons for because I thought it was somewhat intuitive, but people asked, so I made one. Before we start, you have to really think about what pronouns are. And if you know what pronouns are, this is simply just, you have to find, oh, does this pronoun match with another pronoun? That's all this really is. So I think it's best to learn by examples or through examples. So what are some of the pronouns, right? Pronouns, they basically what? What do? They replace a noun, right? So if you have like Mike, right? You can use Mike as what? You could do Mike as, I don't know, he, or you could do maybe, if there's a person, maybe you could do one, or you could do you, etc. There's so many pronouns. I'm sure you learned this in grade school, but I won't go over that. So let's just look at the questions and see what you can find that's wrong. And, just by the phrase of what is called, right? The name itself, pronoun shift. So something changes, right? And I think that's what they want you to catch, right? So if one spends much time with kindergartners, right? So if one spends much time with kindergartners, you should realize that a promise made to a kindergartner is a big deal because the child will never forget it. And I guess it's a funny sentence, but it's probably because it's true, right? So we're, out of all the things that's underlined over here, is wrong. What's wrong over here, right? You could tell what's wrong. What's wrong is what? One does not match with you. And this is a very, very common problem or common error on the SATs. So if you see one, you should always check, does this one match with the other pronoun that they're referring to? And in this case, it doesn't, right? And one is singular, and singular spends. So A is okay. There's nothing wrong with A, but there's definitely something wrong with B. Why? Because one changed to you. So how can you fix this? If one spends much time with the kindergarten, one should. Since one is not underlined, you can't change this, so you can't change it to you. It must be a change to what? You over here to one. Okay, so let's look at this one more over here. So for people, right, that's a hint. People in many post-colonial societies, work was only a means of survival rather than a way to improve your standard of living. Right? And if you don't know what this phrase means of, right? I think you should really, really learn it because it's important. It comes out very, very often. So you could say it is a means to an end. Means, sorry. It means that a way to get to your goal, right? A means of survival means, it's something you do to survive, right? You could also use the word means in many different ways. Look it up because SAT tests you on degrees of words. But in this case, for people in many societies, work was only a means of survival rather than a way to improve your standard of living, right? So this is talking about people, and all of a sudden it goes to your, right? Which can be singular. So what error is this then? Again, this is a pronoun shift error, right? So it should be what? D, sorry, I should circle this, not exit. It should be what? Rather than a way to improve their, right? Standard of living, right? Or maybe I should say standards in this case, right? So it's referring to people. It should be their D. Alright, so let's look at another one. It says, to comprehend 20th century banking practices, right? How they did banking and their policies. We must be sufficiently versed, means you should know about it. Versed in Keynesian theories, whether one agrees with them or not. So this is a good question. If you read quickly, you probably hear no error at all, right? To comprehend banking practices. Who's going to comprehend this? We. Okay. Oh, okay. Fine. We are comprehending it. But remember, we is a plural in this case, right? We must be sufficient versed means we must really know about this. Whether one, right? Remember what I said. Always have to be careful. When you see one, see if that one matches with the other pronoun, right? In this case, it does not again. Right? One agrees with them or not. And many people think, oh, maybe, this them is wrong because it doesn't agree with the one. Right? But them is actually talking about what? The theories. Right? Logically, that's what it says. One agrees with them. It's not people, right? It's the theories that they're referring to, right? So it cannot be D. And I've seen many kids pick D, thinking, oh, this is a pronoun shift. No, it's actually the answer is what? Answer is B, right? Because we doesn't make sense. It should be one must be, since you can't change the one over here again. Okay?